Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Super excited for today's beer, as I always am. Beer's courtesy of Mark. Thanks so much, Mark. I really appreciate it. And it's a coffee stout aged in bourbon barrels. So, of course, I'm excited for this. So this is Coffee Underverse Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Coffee Stout, as I mentioned. It's from Masthead, which I did not mention. Proper glassware, so you know it's going to taste better. 12.6% ABV. Somewhere in the blackness of space, there lies another verse, the Underverse. Upon crossing this threshold, one returns changed. Some call it enlightenment, while others call it nirvana. Our bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Coffee Stout has returned from this journey transformed. During its time in bourbon barrels, it mingled with locally roasted coffee beans from 6-Shooter Coffee, imbuing it with a depth of flavor and complexity not attainable on its own. And it is just over 2 months old, and it says Coffee Undies. Underverse. Underwear. Undies. I don't know. I do know I'm excited for this. Alright. OCD kicking in. Gotta clean this top off. Alright, so it's pretty darn black. There was some brown when I was pouring it, but it's definitely a dark beer. It looks like double digits, big stout for sure. Try to pour it fairly aggressively, about 1.25 fingers. Speaking of coffee, exactly mocha colored head. Tiny bubbles, some small bubbles. What's sticking to the side glass is a little bit sudsy, soapy looking, but yeah, definitely looks like a big stout. Let's get into the aroma. That smells fantastic. You know, I get a lot of in this, and I think people who watch this channel a lot will be happy to hear me say this. I get a lot of vanilla actually out of that barrel. You get a nice roast. You can tell, you know, there's coffee in it, but there's also some of the base stout roast, which is really nice. I like that those are playing nicely with each other, and neither one's like overwhelming the other. They're both there, both working well, adding, because it's a relatively sweet smelling beer, so that roast is helping, you know, balance out the aroma. Definitely some milk chocolate because of that vanilla and that sweetness. Some dark chocolate as well, so you get some complexity with the chocolate note. Definitely the coffee specifically. It is quite, kind of like I was saying about the head, it is very mocha-y. It's probably more hot coffee than like a cold brew, but you're not getting burnt, ashy coffee at all. Hershey's chocolate syrup. But yeah, it doesn't have that smoky, peaty thing that this style can have. I'm super curious about the taste. I'm wondering how sweet this is going to be based on the aroma. I'll make sure that's centered nicely. Anyway, only one way to find out. Cheers. Thanks again, Mark. Yeah, I can sip on this all night. This is really good. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on that's similar to the aroma. The same, similar. One thing that definitely was not in the aroma, because I made a point to say this, there is a little bit of that, like the roast is there, and then a little bit beyond roast to a smoky, ashy kiss. It's not dominant. It's about as low as you can get while still registering it, but it is there, and it is different than what I got in the aroma. I get the vanilla. I get bourbon specifically, which I did not say in the aroma, although I got a bourbon and bourbon barrel-aged notes. I didn't think specifically bourbon. Do get in the taste in a very pleasant way. Like the aroma, you get the milk chocolate and the dark chocolate. It is relatively sweet, but you do get the roastiness, again, from the base beer and also from the addition of coffee. I'm going to have to go in for another sip, get a couple other tasting notes to say, but also I'm curious if I didn't notice it drying out too much in the finish, so I'm kind of curious if this beer does that. And I love that aroma. Yeah, now more of that roast and coffeeness is coming through. What I was initially, I mean, it was pretty obvious. First thing I was getting was that vanilla, that sweetness, but now there's more of that roast. So I don't know if it's just opened up more, the head's gone down, so maybe I'm smelling something different because it's on my palate, you know, anything. All of those things also on the table. Could be a combination. It dries out. It's not bone dry or anything, but it does dry out some, so that's also nice. Between the drying out and that roastiness, it balances out the initial sweetness you get. Nice caramel note in the at the beginning of the sip. Beginning of the sip is where all the sweetness is taking place. So you're getting that milk chocolate more than the dark chocolate, a little bit dark still, but milk chocolate more. You're getting the vanilla. You're getting that caramel for sure. The milk chocolate's also borderline like Hershey's syrup, which I have another video for my Cellar Saturday. I already filmed it, but I'll be putting out this Saturday if you're watching in chronological order. That one I got a lot of Hershey chocolate syrup as well. That one was also a coffee stout, aged in bourbon barrels. What else was I getting? I'm not getting a ton of the fruity stuff you can get in the style. Kiss of coconut. Very, very light hand with a coconut. About as light as that smoky thing I was talking about. I finally get some oak, yeah, in the back end. The finish, yeah, in the finish first. Like, there's so much going on. I have to, like, it's hard to, like, process in real time, even. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious how much I like this. I tell you what, I'm loving Masthead, their beers for sure. So I really appreciate, Mark, you sending these. And the fact that they could, talk about a style I get excited about. Stout, yep. Coffee, yep. Bourbon barrel aged. I'm filming this a couple days after Father's Day, and my card, the front of it was, who do I love more, beer or coffee? And this is the marriage of those two things. This is delicious. And I love my kids more than I love either of the drinks. All right. Clarified that so no one calls Child Protective Services. Let's see. Said thank you to Mark. This is delicious. I think that's everything I need to say and want to say. Thanks again, Mark. I really appreciate it. Have you guys had this beer before? Have you had anything from Masthead? Do you like coffee in your bourbon barrel aged stouts? Do you like it without adjuncts? Anything, everything. Comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.